up? Good morning, everybody. What's up, Kevin? Wild morning, huh? What's going on with you? What's making it so wild? Curious now. Hey, Kels. Down with the morning convo. Night shadow. Can we see you during the day, Night Shadow? Or are we all night shadows? Rescue all dogs recovering from surgery, able to listen at home instead of between sales appointments. Sorry you're missing work. Yeah, surgery's no good. I had hernia surgery, and that's not even like too serious. What's up, Beach Fair? Well, rescue all dogs. I hope you have speedy recovery. Hey, Marlo. Happy Monday. Hey, Jill. Hi, Teresa. Julianne, good to see you. Patricia. Teresa. Good morning, Derek. What's going on with you this morning, Derek? Hey, Lakeside. What's up, Violet? WL, what's good? True Crime News, what's up? Sleuth Tube? I like that. What's up, Miss Thang? Andrew Derringer. Brad, what up? Barbara. Kate. Hey, Wanda. Morning, Kate List. Morning, Wanda. What's up, CJ? Good morning, Melissa. Hey, Courtney, what's up? Good to see you. Cindy. Marbles. All right, let's get into it. So the question of the day is, did Libby or Abby know Richard Allen? Let me know what you think. I say it's possible. February 3rd to the 10th, I think, is where all the answers are as far as motive. I'm so lonely, Mr. Lonely. I have nobody to call my own. Like, yeah, nobody feels for you, Kegan. Doesn't matter what you look like, bro. Anybody, can go out and find happiness. There's no excuse for what you did. And it's strange, the way he communicates with women is a lot different than the way he communicates with men. If you look at Kegan Klein's interview with Barb McDonald versus reading his transcript, very different. Marlo says, I think Richard Allen at least knew Abby based on the proximity of both of their homes at the time. I mean, for all we know, that he actually did groom them. It's possible he took over this. If Kagan's even connected, I don't. I'm not 100% convinced. But when I look at the evidence, it sure points right at him. The timeline and the evidence points to a Kegan Klein connection. It's not something I'm just pulling out of the air. You know what I mean? It's not something I'm holding on to. Like, I believe that there's a connection. And I think from February 3rd to February 10th, maybe even February 12th, all the way to February 12th, there was something that was going on. Possibly they did meet in real life. Maybe somehow he convinced one of the girls, like, hey, like, sorry I lied to you. We just don't know. There could be anything that happened during that time frame that motivated at least two people to commit a crime, a double murder. They may have seen him at CVS, is what Lakeside is saying. What about Riley Park? Weren't they at Riley Park at on Sunday? They're playing baseball. Remember? I think Anna was there too. Anna or one of the Patties. Miss Thang says it's possible younger girls like to hang out with older guys. They think it's cool. Could they have known Richard Allen's daughter? See, I'm thinking something like that might have happened, or he convinced them to meet and actually like started dating one of them. Maybe stuff like this happens where they groom their victims. They groom them. They convince them. They lie to them. Um, the Anthony Shots money. Here, let me buy you something. Why don't you go get yourself like one of those disposable phones? That way I don't get caught or my wife doesn't catch me. Yeah, age 14 is a really tough time. I had a really tough time when I was about that age, 14. Yeah, it was a really, really, really hard time for me. Let's just say I barely made it out alive. It's that halfway point between being a child and an adult. It's a very confusing time. Marble says if he's as short as they say, someone could have thought he was a teen with his hoodie up. Yeah, that makes sense. You assume short stature with young age. If you're not, really putting too much thought into it, your recollection is like, yeah, I think it might have been a teenager. If you don't have a clear shot of the face, and you have somebody that's maybe even walking with some, um, wasn't there a rumor early on that they saw the girls being followed by two teenage boys with hoodies up? Maybe one of the teenage boys was Richard Allen. I don't know. Derek says Kegan, king of sympathy. Yeah, I feel like he has this ability with women. Have you noticed? It's this poor me. I've been victimized my entire life. I'm a product of my environment. Help me. And man, a lot of you girls are eating that up. I don't think Barb did. She's like, why'd you create that account? I don't know. I guess I was lonely, Barb. Do you feel bad for me? He's got women writing him in prison and all this kind of weird stuff. Visiting him even. Beach Fairy says they could recognize him as the guy from CVS, but I'm not sure if they knew him. He may have known them though, through a fake profile. Well, I know that I don't know how well his wife knew Tara, which would have been Libby's aunt. But they do have some photographs together, I think, at the pool hall. But I mean, small town America. But the one thing is that they do know that each other exists. So I don't know if maybe that was a connection or how Richard came to find out about Libby or Abby. I'm not sure. Oops, sorry. The way he communicates online compared to in person is night and day. He avoids confrontation in person. Oh, he loved playing that character. He loved being Anthony Shots. If he was to meet somebody in real life, it would end that whole persona, and it would take away what he was receiving from it. He was basically in the metaverse. You know what I mean? He was in his Kegan verse, where everything's kind of sticky. It's like, ugh. Good morning, GP. Hey, Grunge. Might have seen him around, but I don't know about knowing him personally. Yep, behind the keyboard, he's anybody he wants to be. Derek says Kager's telling a 13-year-old he stalked previously he would bleed her out for bringing someone with her. Well, we don't know if he said it. We know that somebody said that he said it. And I think that was, the heck was her name? Kayla? Speaking with a Kayla, not, there's more than one Kayla. I believe her name is Kayla. She was speaking with the murder sheet, explaining an experience with the Anthony Shots account. Maybe not even with Anthony Shots. It might have been even with Kegan Klein directly. I'm not sure. Some local businesses will sponsor local sports teams, so I'm curious if CVS ever sponsored a girls' softball team. Do we know how old his daughter is or was at the time of the crime? Maybe the daughter was friends with Libby's sister. Kate Liss says, is it possible that the lady who saw BG on the first platform said something about a creepy guy to the girls on her way back? They were not worried until Libby saw him coming back towards them. Honestly, Kate, I doubt that. You know, hindsight, of course, we're thinking about these things, but these people are just living out a normal day. Like me, I go for a morning walk. I don't expect anything weird to happen, but that's when weird shit happens. You're not expecting it, especially if you're completely unaware that you're being stalked by some kind of weird, creepy predator monster slash, basically it's like a little mini werewolf walking around, looking for you. He's got a device and he's tracking you, and he's for some reason he's planning on killing you, and you're just going about your day. Like, how messed up is that? Your biggest worry is like, oh, I hope my friend doesn't get mad because I'm talking to this guy, or I can't wait for softball season, or I'm so happy that what was going Abby is playing softball. Like, this is so cool. I'm going to help her out. This is things are looking up. Things are going to be great. Winter's gone, starting to warm up. That's what they're thinking. But on the other side of town, there's other people that are thinking like, okay, our plan worked. Possibly, our plan worked. We got them. They're on their way to the bridge. They'll be there at 1:30. Go get ready. Kate's asking, is it possible that the lady who saw the bridge guy on the first platform? So I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think they were just going about their day. I think that after the crime happened, she looked back on it and she's like, yeah, those are the girls I saw. And maybe she did get a good, some kind of weird feeling from the guy on the bridge. And maybe that's why she really didn't hang around. But I mean, it is possible. Maybe he creeped her out too. Was that her name? Hey, what's up, Arch? Good to see you. CJ, hey, I think KK had a ghosting set up and Richard Allen actually showed up and did it. I don't know. For some reason I believe Kegan when he says like he doesn't remember sending some of the things or he's not responsible for some of the things that your investigators are finding on his devices. I think that there were multiple people using his devices. I think that part he's being honest about. And I wonder if they did find something. Let's say they did find something in the Wabash River search. Let's say they found a device and they removed a couple charges from Kegan Klein early on. They were able to dismiss some of the charges, I think, because I think they were having a hard time proving some of that information. But what if they found a device and they were like, oh, okay, well, here's the confirmation on those other charges. So not only do we have a link to Richard Allen here, but we're also able to verify that he, in fact, through this device, did perpetrate these other crimes. Boom. Those go back on. Kegan, you're going to have to face all of this. But because of what you did for us and, taking us to the river and pointing all that out, you're not going to face anything over here because we believe what you're saying according to what we see in the forensic data. We believe what you're saying. For all he knows is like, I don't know, one night we were up, they were on my phone. Next thing I know, these girls, there's a murder in Delphi, and I have a feeling I know who did it. But I think I know how they did it or why, I don't know why they did it, but I think I know who did it. Yeah, early on, probably about 6 months after the crime, there was a Facebook post, and apparently it was a lady that lives. I want to say maybe on Kay Weber's side. I'm not sure exactly. But the post was they seen the girls walk by and following behind them. No, I don't know if it was the girls. They saw two girls walking and they were being followed by two, what she thought were two teenagers with their hoodies up. I've looked for that Facebook post and I can't find it. And it's just strange how some things are just everywhere, right? And then all of a sudden they're nowhere. Lakeside says, I think so, but it may be a rumor, i.e., Dog Lady. Yeah, it could be two stories being merged. I'm not sure. It could be the original Dog Lady. I'm not sure about that either. Beach says, you're always connected through someone in a small town. It's like that here in the UK. You can't meet anyone new without discovering you have people connected to you somehow. I think the key is how did Richard Allen know they would be there? I can't comprehend it. was purely a coincidence. He was out and stumbled across two girls in a vulnerable position. Well, Matt H., the reason why I feel like he knew they would be there and that he was targeting them was the information that's provided in his probable cause affidavit. The witnesses report seeing him as somebody who was walking with purpose. So if you're on a, if you're getting ready to start some bloody rampage, why would you walk past these three? They would have been, the same type of victim, young girls in the middle of the woods. I mean, what's the difference? They even said hi to him. They're like, hi. And he's just like, nope, I got somewhere to be. And what's strange is he shows up at 1:30, and originally that's the time frame that Kelsey remembered was 1:30. And I'm sure 1:30 is because that's the time the girls were like, hey, can you get us there by 1:30? How did he know that that's when they would be there? I think and this is another thing that ties Kegan Klein in. Because if you read his transcript early in the morning, he's logging in and logging out on two separate devices to Snapchat, not to Instagram, not to Facebook, not to anything else, but to Snapchat. And this was referred to right at the beginning as his Snapchat killings. Remember that? So that's what he was doing. He was using that profile. But why? Why was he stalking them? And why specifically her, Libby? Something between the 3rd and the 10th happened. Some kind of relationship, some kind of knowledge of who these people were. Maybe she was being sextorted and then found out who it was that was doing it. Sleuth intuition, yes, Kayla, that is it. I thought that might have been it. And we don't know how many times Richard Allen went to the trails. Maybe he hung out there planning to be a predator. Everything clicked when he saw the girls. Yeah, but why click then? We know he already backed in to the CVS building, parking all suspicious. So that shows intent right there. He parked with the intention to do harm. Okay. Well, there you are in the middle. I mean, I can understand it was three people. That could seem overwhelming. I don't know. I think it's just strange, that he went straight to that bridge right at 1:30, right at the same time that those girls were on their way to the trails. He beelined it. And then he just sat there and waited. I think Richard Allen's daughter is about 28 now, around KK's age. That's interesting. Matt says it seems like a 99.9% Richard Allen, but in a court of law, I am anxious. Yeah, and I mean they shouldn't lock him up for life if they can't prove it's him. Strongly feeling one way or the other isn't, 100%. Levi says the only reason I said yes to the poll question was simply because I still think either Libby or Abby was specifically targeted. How or why, I don't know. Yeah, if you look at everything, it would appear that they were targeting Libby. But we could be way off on that as well. Yeah, Derek, I remember that. It was a good interview. She said there's a skate park. It's called Foster Park over there in Kokomo. She said that Kagan asked her to meet over there at Foster Park, and she brought a friend with her. And Kagan never showed up. He probably did show up, but he was watching from a distance. Maybe it wasn't Kagan at all. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think Kagan, right now, I don't think Kagan was involved in the crime, but I think he knows who the killer is. I think the killers may have established communication or a relationship with one of the victims between the 3rd and the 12th. Now, whatever I believe whatever happened between the 3rd and the 12th, the crime on the 13th was to hide that, was to hide whatever it was that took place. Matt says, I've been away from the case for a few months. Did we hear anything about the New Direction press conference and what caused them to change course? It's a good question. The only thing I was able to find was they were doing a sting operation the Thursday and Friday prior to that. And one of the people that they captured actually was under the radar already for the Delphi case. And after that bust, he was arrested. The day he was arrested, they announced that they were going to be having a New Direction presser the following Monday. So I don't know if maybe they were able to squeeze one of those guys for some information. That's all I could find. Duke Nukem says, I think him telling them where the phone is, they drop 5 charges. They can't do that, you know? They can't drop 5 charges like that. Now, they can remove charges in their case or give immunity, but you can't say, hey, look, these 5 victims are more important than these 5 victims. We're going to go ahead and bargain with these 5, because those victims, they're going to have to get a call. They're going to be like, hey, guess what? We used your cases to negotiate for another case. Sorry, no justice for you. No, justice has to be served in all those cases. So he's going to face all of those charges like he should. And then, in my opinion, they're going to turn around and be like, but for helping us over here, you're going to get 100% immunity. And we're going to let the judge know what you did for us. So she may give you leniency. So instead of 5 years per charge, you might just get 3. Hey, what's up, SP? Good to see you. Yeah, and The charges that were dropped seem to be the material with very young children, apparently sent to KK. Exactly. And if you take what was found, mixed, and then kind of use what was also said in the interview transcript, I mean, law enforcement basically says, hey, look, we know that there's more than one person using your devices. Well, as a defense attorney, I'm going to be like, okay, well, right here, you heard him say that. That's reasonable doubt. They created the reasonable doubt. So they had to remove that. But the thing is if they found a device in the Wabash River that shows proof of all of that stuff, like he actually was exchanging that, like, yeah, he's still helping. But now we have proof here also of the other crimes that we were suspecting him of. So now that we have actual evidence for those, we're going to stick those to you. You're going to face justice for all of this stuff here. And then you'll be rewarded for cooperating with us. I really do think that he's involved. I believe that the Wabash River search was him providing information to law enforcement on where to find this device and what they will find on the device. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Glad you can make a morning show. Good to see you. What's up, Vanessa? Yeah, he even said something about slitting her throat. But remember, that's what she said. That's her. Well, I guess it wouldn't be testimony. But those are her statements, you know? Caitlin says, I thought the lady who saw the guy on the first platform turned around because he creeped her out. That wasn't stated, but I know that it is mentioned that apparently the girl said something like, creepy, is the creepy guy still following us, or something like that in the video. Is that creepy guy still behind us? And one of the other girls goes, mm-hmm. And then he like runs up on him, and they're like, well, there's nowhere else to go. And then one of them says, he has a gun. And then he says, get down the hill. I think that's pretty much what the video is. Beach Fairy says that pic of Richard Allen with the horses in the background from 2018, his face is so different to now. If you cover the lower half of his face, he doesn't look his age. Think could be mistaken at a glance. Yeah, I think he looks a lot younger from some angles, for sure. And also, another thing that concerns me is there seems to be a point where he was like drinking and he was really heavy set and he was at the bars playing pool and, seemed just like a normal dude. And then out of nowhere, he's wearing like polo shirts and he's hiking and he's going on adventures. I'm wondering if like his wife knew what happened. Like he came home, he's got all these cuts all over his hands and he's all like out of his mind. And she's like, "What the hell happened?" He's like, "I don't know. I blacked out." And then boom, on the news, it's like there was a double homicide. She's like, "You killed those girls, you know?" And he's like, "Yeah, I probably did." She's like, "Well, you need to go to the hospital. You're gonna do what I say from now on." So boom, he goes to the hospital, stops drinking, cleans up his, starts shaving. Because if you see, there's a point where there's this high activity level on her Facebook. They're taking vacations. So I'm wondering if it's like, okay, you messed up. Now you're going to do things my way. You're going to stop drinking. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to straighten up. Or he just did that all on his own so that nobody suspected him. I'm not sure. Could just be talking out of my ass, like usual. Get super white hot, does structure, calms down, start over. It is a pattern. It yeah, I mean, he could be suffering from mental illness, going through episodes. Mark Craven, good morning. Do we know how often Richard Allen has been at the bridge prior or after the murders? Was this a common place that he would go to? That I have not heard yet. That I'm not sure of. I know that he lives pretty close by. He can access those trails through his backyard, basically, traveling under the overpasses and making his way. It'd be rough terrain, but I mean, he could make it following the river and some trails that go back there. Be quite a hike. I know Wild Adventures with Michael, they went all the way to the overpass from the crime scene. And it was a pretty easy walk to that point. But from there to like Riley Park or from there to Richard Allen's home, I don't know how tough the terrain is. But there's from what I can see from their video, there's trails all back there. Derek says Yellow or Yubo was directly attached to Snapchat at that time. Melissa says, so did Kelsey see him at 1:30 when she dropped the girls off? Well, originally she said 1:30, but we know for a fact now it's closer to like 1:49. So you got Richard Allen pulling up right at 1:30, or he's already most likely on the trail at 1:30. Like right at 1:30, he's already walking towards the bridge. Right at that exact moment, that's when Kelsey, Libby, and Abby are driving. They're approaching the Mears property at that point in time. They probably dropped the girls off around 1:40, 1:45. And then Kelsey lingers there on the phone. So as she's lingering, the witness that saw Richard Allen on the first pier has already made her entire hike of the whole trail system there to the Freedom Bridge and back. And as she's going back to her car towards where Kelsey's parked, she passes the girls. So it's closer to like 1:49. And they can verify all that on video. The Hoosier Harvest Store video, for some reason that they did not have until after the Ron Logan affidavit. Why didn't they have that video? Or why didn't they mention the video? Was it, that's kind of misleading. Let's say they had this video during the Ron Logan search warrant and they put all that misleading information in there. Like they said, the girls were dropped off around 1. We know factually that was a lie or false information. So what if they did have the Hoosier Harvest Store video and they're putting all this false information in there like that? We need to find out. Why they were, if they had the Hoosier Harvest Store video, why were they sitting on it? That's the first question. And the second question would be, if they did not have the Hoosier Harvest Store video, what was the delay on getting their hands on it? What's that all about? I still think if KK was involved, it included money. True Crime News says, I'm filming a new reenactment based on the probable cause affidavit. I need people to play the roles of the witness and so forth. If anybody can do that, I need to get it done by next weekend. Libby's friend said he was invited to go to the bridge with Libby the day before, but he couldn't go. I think that was her buddy Max. He was interviewed by Julie Melvin, and he said that. He said, "Yeah, it was a 19-year-old guy, and that he warned her to be careful." Yeah, that's now public information. That was a huge rumor that turned out to be true. Todd, man, I mean, people would yell at you until they were red in the face about that one. Brick with Eyes says Allen probably stalked those trails. Could have looked from victims from the car driving around it. Without leaves on the trees, you could probably see people on the trail from the road. Sorry, I was reading an email. I don't know. I just don't feel like he was out stalking. So let's say he did meet the girls somewhere between the 3rd and the 10th, or the 3rd and the 12th. He would have met them kind of like all dressed up, right? Clean cut, clean shaven, nice shirt, nice pants, maybe some boots. Like, hey, and then maybe it got weird. Maybe it got violent, weird. The girls were like, hey, like, dude, you're like the CVS guy, or we're gonna tell your wife like what you're doing. And he's like, oh hell no. He's like, I have to do this ASAP. Maybe it was even worse. Thanks, V. Um, Anna says the other girls, witnesses at the trails that day, seem to have been leaving when they saw Richard Allen. If they were leaving, they may have had destinations and would have been missed sooner than later. It's actually my understanding they were lingering around a bench. They actually took a few photos of the bench, and there was rumors early on that some of the witnesses actually took photos, and in the background there was people. Um, the suspects were in the background. And I don't know how true it is, but there was another rumor that in the background there was another person wearing all black and wearing like a scream mask. Now, don't go repeating that because it's probably total rubbish. But I'm just saying it's interesting that that rumor was going around. Then all of a sudden, these witnesses are mentioned in the probable cause affidavit as taking photos, and that those photos were requested by law enforcement. You know, I just suspected that that rumor came from the whole guy in black. Because I guess the witnesses that were mentioned in the probable cause affidavit were talking about this guy in black that they seen. They were adamant about it. You know, they were like, I don't know, he was wearing dark clothes. No, they were saying this guy was wearing all black. I didn't know you were homeless, Beach Fairy. Congratulations. I hope it just keeps going up and up and up for you. Good for you. Thanks, Derek. Thanks for hitting the merch shop, buddy. I do like that hoodie, man. Appreciate you. Sharon Parker says, awesome, Beach Fairy. Good luck. Anna says, Beach Fairy, best wishes in your new home. Yeah, that's awesome. I like to hear stuff like that. Todd says it's possible Richard Allen knew students off, that the students were off school, would be there. Maybe he was stalking locations all day and ultimately needed to act because it was getting later in the day. But it wasn't later in the day, it was 2. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he went to the bridge, got high, and while he was high, did something crazy. Or maybe he went to the bridge, passed those girls, got some bad news, snapped. Passed these 3 girls that looked nothing like Libby or Abby, no interest. Something about seeing them or one of the girls sparked something. The only person who's going to be able to tell us are the killers. And they really need to just start talking. I mean, they could put all of this to rest and face their demons. Get it over with. Someone watching from a distance to know she brought her friend, and then maybe getting angry again. What if Kegan Klein was catfishing Richard Allen's daughter, and then in an attempt to get back at the catfisher, he commits his murder and tries to frame him? There's a conspiracy for you. Totally unlikely, but the cause map. There you go, Derek. Good job. Been doing DoorDash and about to start Uber Eats. Duke Nukem, what's up? Okay, then why did they drop them? What do you mean? Okay, then why did they drop them? Drop them. Oh, you mean the charges? I think they dropped the charges because if you look at the Kegan Klein interview transcript, law enforcement's telling them like, "Hey, we know this isn't you. We know this isn't all of you." And they start talking about there was some children like infants and stuff and animal stuff and all this weird, really nasty stuff, and he wouldn't admit to that stuff, so they couldn't really prove it, it seems. And I think it would be easy for a defense attorney to be like, look, you guys just said here in this interview that you know for a fact because of the phonetics that you believe there's two different people on these devices, right? Okay. So then you know, it's going to be easy for us to get some of these removed. Well, I have a feeling that when they went and found this device, and I believe they did find a device. I have no proof, don't quote me, but I believe they took Kegan Klein out of jail, put him in ISP um, custody confidentially. He told him, hey, this is what happened. This is what you should be able to find it here. They did find it. I think they were able to find evidence to where they can recharge him for those specific crimes. So he's going to face justice on all of those, but he's going to also get leniency for the Delphi stuff. I really do believe he's connected. His name is Damien. He is a business owner. I think he owns an extermination business. He drove in from out of town that day. Yeah, he's definitely not large, short and stocky. You always got to, you want to stick with your, you know, your first impression. You're like, what does my gut tell me? All right, guys, we are approaching the hour mark. So if you have any questions or anything you want to discuss before we get out of here, we got about 8 minutes. Good point. V says, I'm starting to lean that way, Sleuth. KK not killing, but having awareness or making some kind of profit. Only thing that makes me think otherwise is the question of his search of DNA. Well, one thing that's bothers me is when they went to Las Vegas, they were trying to meet somebody right on the 23rd, trying to meet somebody on Craigslist. Then it's almost like they were successfully able to meet this person and now they're looking for prostitutes. Even though Kegan Klein downplays it, he's like, oh, yeah, you know, we looked at the bunny ranch, but it was too expensive and, you know, bullshit. What if they were looking at the bunny ranch because they had money to spend, you know, out of nowhere, they got all this money? Just a thought. Hey, Deb's True Crime Notebook. What's up, Deb? Hey, Sleuth and chat. I'm listening at work. Hope you have a really good day. Hey, what's up, Fig? Good to see you, brother. Did not try to meet his online victims. Yeah, and I don't think he did. You know, he had no money. He didn't need money. He was victimizing young teenagers who he could fool to believing that he had money. He didn't need money. He was a predator. Sorry, I had to shut my window. My neighbor's going to town on something in his garage. He might have the wrong bit. Yeah, if somebody planned this out, I mean, think about it. The plan was successful for almost 6 years. They couldn't figure this one out. It was very confusing to all of them. Rescue All Dogs says Richard Allen's wife was out of town caring for a family member on the day of the murders. Yeah, for all we know, Richard Allen was alone, didn't know what to do with himself, finds himself, hanging around with the wrong people, lingering after a night at the bar. Stuff like that happens. Thanks, V. Yeah, if you guys want to show some support, feel free to become a member. Hit up the Cash App, super chat, super stickers, whatever. I appreciate it all. Thanks, Boston. The super sticker. Who else we got? Rescue All Dogs. Thank you so much. Super sticker from Rescue All Dogs. Thanks for participating the way you do in the chat as well. Some good stuff. The Masquerade Mask from WTHR Channel 13. Yeah, I haven't been able to find that. What was that? Like left at the memorial or something? V Maria with the super sticker. Thank you, V. In the Stevenson, this is from Tina Baldwin. In the Stevenson video, there's a curio cabinet behind the woman. There's a similar masquerade mask in the curio. Hey, Jinx, thank you so much. Cindy says, hit that thumbs up. Appreciate you guys. All right, we'll take a couple more. Thank you, Boston. Fashionably late. Yeah, that gets me a little tingly. The conspiracy. I have the conspiracy bug. That feeds it a little bit. You too, Marlo. Lauren, who asks, hey, Lauren, good to see you, by the way. Do gag orders include children? Not sure. I'm sure it would. Especially if they're going to be testifying or anything, participating in the process. I believe so. I think it says family. Hey, Bossy. Yeah, I know that there was something involving a brother who had recently passed away. And I guess it had affected them quite a bit. So maybe that put him back on a binge. Maybe. Anna says creeps could be attracted to the Delphi Memorial. That's true because in Evansdale, if you guys know anything about the case of Elizabeth and Lyric, 2012, they were kidnapped and found about 25 miles away. Well, at the crime scene, 2 separate times on the anniversary of the murder, they found knives stuck into the tree at the crime scene. But the information that was put out to the public from law enforcement after it was that they believed that they weren't involved. There's just some sick people, you know. And if you guys remember, in one of the Facebook groups regarding Delphi, we had the Skull Buster guy. You remember that? Where he came in and he was like claiming to be the Delphi killer and threatening to kill people. And he wasn't hiding his identity or anything. It was pretty creepy. False confessions are a real thing. Thank you, Cindy. Yep, for the replay crew, if you guys didn't catch this live or anybody that participated today, if you want to drop a comment, I'll get back to you, and I'm sure anybody here, if you at them in the comment, they'll respond to you. Hey, what's up, Frank? I almost missed you, buddy. Thanks, V. Yeah, also, if you guys want to support my channel, hit up the merch. Some pretty good stuff in there. All right, guys. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. You might catch me on channel 2. So if you guys want to get down on some of that, let me know. Keep a lookout for the notification. I do have some stuff I'm putting together, so right now it's about 80% chance of, you know, there's some precipitation. It's getting cloudy. Hey, what's up, Grizz? Good to see you. Thank you, Derek. Boston, sleuthintuition@gmail.com.